May 2, 2023 Unit 4 Regulations of Licensees, Administrative Procedures Act. Advance Fee, Americans with Disabilities Act. Article 5. Article 7, Associate Broker, Blockbusting, Bulk Sales Act. California Fair Employment and Housing Act. Civil Rights Act of 1866. Civil Rights Act of 1968. Equal Housing Opportunity Poster. Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988. Familial Status. Federal Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Act. First Point of Contact. Franchise Investment Law. MOG Brokers. Mortgage Loan Disclosure Statement. Mortgage Loan Originator, MLO. Nationwide Mortgage Licensing System and Registry, NMLS. Omnibus Housing Non-Discrimination Act. Real Estate Advisory Commission. Redlining. Restricted License. Rumford Act. SAFE Act. Send out slip. Sexual Harassment. Staring. Successor Liability. Table Funding, under Civil Rights Act. Usury. Q. What is the Administrative Procedures Act in real estate? A. The Administrative Procedures Act is a federal law that governs the process of administrative agencies, including those that regulate real estate, in promulgating and enforcing regulations. Q. What is an advance fee in real estate? A. An advance fee is a payment made to a real estate agent or broker before services are rendered, which is prohibited by law in most states. Q. What is the Americans with Disabilities Act in real estate? A. The Americans with Disabilities Act is a federal law that prohibits discrimination against people with disabilities in employment, public accommodations, transportation, and other areas, including in the design and construction of certain types of real estate. Q. What is Article 5 in real estate? A. Article 5 is a section of the Realtor Code of Ethics that prohibits real estate agents from engaging in discriminatory practices based on factors such as race, religion, or national origin. Q. What is Article 7 in real estate? A. Article 7 is a section of the Realtor Code of Ethics that requires real estate agents to be honest and truthful in their advertising and other representations to the public. Q. What is an associate broker in real estate? A. An associate broker is a licensed real estate agent who has completed additional education and experience requirements and who may supervise other agents or brokers. 1. What is blockbusting? Answer: the illegal practice of inducing homeowners to sell their properties by making them believe that the entry of a protected class of people into the neighborhood will have a negative impact on property values. 2. What is the Bulk Sales Act? Answer: a law that requires a business owner to give notice to creditors before selling the business or its assets. 3. What is the California Fair Employment and Housing Act? Answer: a state law that prohibits discrimination in employment and housing based on various protected classes. 4. What is the Civil Rights Act of 1866? Answer: a federal law that prohibits discrimination based on race in the sale, lease, or rental of property. 5. What is the Civil Rights Act of 1968? Answer: a federal law that prohibits discrimination in the sale, rental, and financing of housing based on race, color, religion, national origin, sex, familial status, or disability. 6. What is equal housing opportunity? Answer: the principle that all individuals should have equal access to housing without discrimination based on certain protected classes. 7. What is a fair housing poster? Answer: a notice that must be displayed in real estate offices to inform clients and customers of fair housing laws and their rights. 1. What does the equal housing opportunity refer to? A. Since it refers to the principle that prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status. 2. What is the purpose of the Equal Housing Opportunity Poster? A. Since the purpose of the poster is to inform tenants and home buyers about their rights under fair housing laws and to provide information on how to file a discrimination complaint. 1. What is the Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988? A. Since a federal law that amended the Civil Rights Act of 1968 to provide additional protections against housing discrimination based on disability and familial status. 2. What does familial status mean in the context of fair housing? A. Since familial status refers to the presence of at least one child under the age of 18 in a household, as well as pregnant women. 3. What is the Federal Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Act? A federal law that requires individuals who receive federal housing assistance to fulfill certain work requirements or participate in job training programs as a condition of receiving benefits. 1. What does the term first point of contact mean in real estate? Since the initial conversation or interaction between a real estate agent and a prospective client. 2. What is the franchise investment law? A California law that requires franchisors to disclose certain information to potential franchisees before a franchise agreement is signed. 3. What does MOG brokers stand for in real estate? Mineral, oil, and gas brokers. 4. What is a mortgage loan disclosure statement? A document that outlines the terms and costs associated with a mortgage loan, which lenders are required to provide to borrowers under California law. 1. What does MLO stand for? Answer: Mortgage Loan Originator. 2. What is the purpose of the Nationwide Mortgage Licensing System and Registry, NMLS? Answer: The NMLS is a system that allows mortgage loan originators to apply for, maintain, and renew their licenses in participating states. 3. What is the role of a mortgage loan originator? Answer: A mortgage loan originator is responsible for assisting borrowers in obtaining mortgage loans from lenders, which involves evaluating their financial situation, determining which loan options are suitable for them, and guiding them through the application process. 4. How does the NMLS benefit consumers? Answer: The NMLS provides consumers with a central database where they can verify the licensing status and history of mortgage loan originators and companies, as well as file complaints if necessary. 5. What are some requirements for becoming a licensed mortgage loan originator? Answer: Requirements vary by state, but generally include completing pre-licensing education courses, passing a national exam, and undergoing a criminal background check. 1. What is the Omnibus Housing Non-Discrimination Act? The Omnibus Housing Non-Discrimination Act is a federal law that prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, national origin, sex, familial status, and disability. 2. What is the Real Estate Advisory Commission? The Real Estate Advisory Commission is a governmental entity that provides advice and recommendations on matters related to real estate and real estate law. 3. What is redlining? Redlining is a discriminatory practice in which lenders refuse to provide loans or insurance to people based on their race or the racial makeup of their neighborhood. 1. What is a restricted license in real estate? A license that has limitations on its scope or duration. 2. What is the Rumford Act? A California law that prohibits housing discrimination based on race, ethnicity, religion, or national origin. 3. What is the SAFE Act? The Secure and Fair Enforcement for Mortgage Licensing Act, which requires mortgage loan originators to be registered and licensed through the Nationwide Mortgage Licensing System and Registry, NMLS. 4. What is a send-out slip in real estate? A document that records when a salesperson or broker refers a client to another agent or a broker. 5. What is sexual harassment in the workplace? Unwanted sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, or other verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature that creates a hostile or offensive work environment. 1. What is the Unruh Civil Rights Act? The Unruh Civil Rights Act is a California law that prohibits discrimination based on a person's sex, race, color, religion, ancestry, national origin, disability, medical condition, marital status, or sexual orientation. 2. What is steering? Steering is the practice of guiding or directing home buyers or tenants to certain neighborhoods or areas based on their protected characteristics, such as race or religion. 3. What is successor liability? Successor liability is a legal concept where a successor company or individual can be held responsible for the debts, liabilities, and legal obligations of the previous company or individual they acquired or succeeded. 4. What is table funding? Table funding is a process in which a mortgage broker originates and processes a loan, but another lender provides the funds at the closing table. 5. What is usury? Usury is the illegal practice of charging excessive or exorbitant interest rates on loans. May 2, 2023 Unit 4 Review Regulations of Licensees. The Real Estate Commissioner is the Chief Executive of the California Department of Real Estate, CalDRE. The primary responsibility of the Real Estate Commissioner, who is appointed by the governor, is to enforce the real estate law in such a manner that purchasers of real estate and those people dealing with real estate licensees are afforded maximum protection. The Commissioner has full authority to control the issuance, suspension, and revocation of real estate licenses. Before revoking, suspending, or denying any real estate license, the commissioning must hold a hearing in accordance with the Administrative Procedure Act. Activities requiring a license. A real estate broker is a person who, for compensation or the expectation of compensation, does one or more of the following acts for others: A. Sells or offers to sell, buys or offers to buy, solicits prospective sellers or purchasers of, solicits or obtains listings of, or negotiates the purchase, sale, or exchange of real property or a business opportunity. A. Leases or rents or offers to lease or rent, or places for rent, or solicits listings of places for rent, or solicits for prospective tenants, or negotiates the sale, purchase, or exchange of leases on real property or on a business opportunity, or collects rents from real property or improvements thereon or from business opportunities. A. Assists or offers to assist in filing an application for the purchase or lease of or in locating or entering upon lands owned by the state or federal government. A. Solicits borrowers or lenders for or negotiates loans or collects payments or performs services for borrowers or lenders or note owners in connection with loans secured directly or collaterally by liens on real property or on a business opportunity. A. Sells or offers to sell, buys or offers to buy, or exchanges or offers to exchange a real property sales contract or a promissory note secured directly or collaterally by a lien on real property or on a business opportunity and performs services for the holders thereof. A. Collects an advance fee in connection with promoting the sale, lease, or exchange of real property or of a business opportunity or to arrange a loan thereon. A. Issues, sells, exchanges, negotiates, or solicits sellers or purchasers of securities, shares in real estate syndicates. These syndicate interests also may be sold by broker, dealers licensed by the Commissioner of Corporations. A. Buys and sells or offers to buy and sell, negotiate for, or solicit purchasers or sellers of mobile homes. Dealers licensed by the Department of Housing and Community Development are also authorized to sell mobile homes. When licensing is not required, A. Unlicensed assistants who do not show property, solicit business, or negotiate or encourage a purchase or utilization of a broker. Finders who receive a fee for introducing the parties. Corporation licenses. A real estate sales corporation must have one real estate broker who has a corporation officer license. Licensees renewing for the first time must complete 45 hours of continuing education, a minimum of 18 hours of consumer protection courses. Late renewals. For late license renewals, there is a 2-year grace period. The licensee cannot act as a real estate agent while the license is expired. Statute of limitations. Disciplinary action must be brought within 3 years of the wrongful act except in the case of fraud, where it is 3 years after the act or 1 year after discovery, whichever comes later, but in no event later than 10 years from the wrongful act. The Consumer Recovery Account provides restitution to members of the public who suffer a loss because of a wrongful act of a real estate licensee. Up to a maximum of $50,000 will be paid to the claimants because of any one transaction, regardless of the number of people injured or the number of licensees involved. No more than $250,000 will be paid out for multiple claims against one licensee. Mortgage loan brokers make or arrange loans for compensation. The mortgage loan broker is thus a middleman, matching borrowers and lenders. The mortgage loan broker has the duty of fair dealing to both lenders and borrowers. A real estate broker is prohibited from advertising or giving gifts or premiums to prospective purchasers or lenders as an inducement for making a loan. Advertising a specific yield greater than the rate stated on the note is misleading advertising unless the ad also includes the actual interest rates and purchase discount. Mortgage loan brokers must include their license number in their advertising soliciting borrowers or investors. Article 7 requires a real estate broker who makes or arranges a mortgage loan of any kind or in any amount to present a mortgage loan disclosure statement to the borrower within 3 days of receipt of a completed loan application. The borrower's signature on the disclosure must be obtained before the time that the borrower becomes obligated to make the loan. The disclosure requires that specific important features of the loan be set forth. Mineral, oil, and gas brokers. New mineral, oil, and gas, MOG, licenses have not been issued since 1993. However, Existing MOG licenses may be renewed every 4 years for the life of the holder. The purpose of the Federal Secure and Fair Enforcement for Mortgage Licensing Act of 2008, SAFE Act, is to protect borrowers in mortgage loan transactions and to reduce fraud. Every state must have a licensing system for residential mortgage originators. A registry of mortgage originators is maintained by the Nationwide Mortgage Licensing System and Registry, NMLS. California Financial Code and requires that escrow agents be licensed by the Commissioner of Corporations not later than 10 calendar days after the sale of a used mobile home that is subject to registration. The broker must supply written notice of the transfer to the Department of Housing and Community Development. Bulk Sales Act. The Bulk Sales Act is of particular interest to brokers engaged in the sale of business opportunities. The Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, or national origin. Exempt from discrimination on the basis of familial status are communities having at least 80% of their units occupied by at least one person 55 years of age or older. Also exempt are housing units intended for and solely occupied by people 62 years of age or older. The Americans with Disabilities Act prohibits discrimination in a place of public accommodation based on an individual's physical or mental disabilities. Under Civil Rights Act, all persons within the jurisdiction of this state are free and equal, and no matter what their race, color, religion, ancestry, or national origin, are entitled to the full and equal accommodations, advantages, facilities, or services in all business establishments of every kind whatsoever. California Fair Employment and Housing Act, Rumford Act. The California Fair Employment and Housing Act prohibits discrimination because of race, color, religion, sex, marital status, national origin, or ancestry in supplying housing accommodations. The Rumford Act has been expanded to include all housing, including single-family residences. Civil Rights Act of 1866, citizens of all races shall have the same rights as enjoyed by white citizens to inherit, purchase, lease, sell, or hold real and personal property. Civil Rights Act of 1968, Federal Fair Housing Act. This act prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, sex, religion, or national origin. A 1988 amendment extended its coverage to include familial status and disability. Under Civil Rights Act, this act prohibits discrimination by a business on the basis of race, color, religion, ancestry, national origin, age, sex, and sexual preference. Fair Employment and Housing Act, Rumford Act. This act prohibits discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, marital status, national origin, or ancestry. Business and Professions Code provides for commissioner disciplinary action against licensees for discriminatory practices. Unit 4 Regulations of Licensees. Unit Quiz 1. A person would most likely contact the real estate commissioner to b. Report fraud of a licensee. 2. Which people would require a real estate license? b. An attorney at law taking a listing. Not acting in an attorney capacity. 3. A broker for a corporation who also wants to conduct a separate brokerage business must b. Obtain a separate broker's license. 4. A non-resident who wishes to obtain a California real estate license must b. Consent to process service on the Secretary of State if the prospective licensee cannot be located within the state. 5. A 3-hour course in ethics is required to be taken before a salesperson's first license renewal. 6. Which is not sufficient cause for the revocation of a real estate license. A. Commingling of principal and personal funds. B. Acting for more than one party in a transaction. C. Making a substantial misrepresentation. D. Making any false promises of a character likely to influence, persuade, or induce. Answer not B. Acting for more than one party in a transaction. 7. Which is not grounds for disciplinary action by the real estate commissioner. A. Failure of an agent to disclose an ownership interest in property being sold. B. Failure to exercise reasonable supervision over the acts of salespeople. C. Violation of the franchise investment law. D. Revealing to a buyer problems that make the property unsuited to his purpose. Answer not D. Revealing to a buyer problems that make the property unsuited to his purpose. 8. Broker Thomas, who was a member of the City Planning Commission, told his friend Broker Jones that an area was to be rezoned from agricultural use to commercial use. Broker Thomas did not receive any consideration for this information. Broker Jones purchased several parcels in the area and made a profit when the zoning was changed, which broker has placed his license in jeopardy. A. Thomas violated confidentiality of information received in government capacity. 9. The maximum amount a person can obtain from a licensee after obtaining a judgment against the licensee for a fraudulent act is D. The amount of the judgment. There is a limit to what the recovery fund will pay. 10. Which activity requires a real estate license? D. Acting as a mortgage loan broker, or licensed by Corporation Commissioner. 11. A $5,000 fee that a broker charged for negotiating a 3-year second trust deed for $20,000 is D. Legal limit applies to second trust deeds under $20,000. 12. A broker's loan statement is prepared for the benefit of the D. borrower. 13. In advertising a mobile home, a broker used no down payment in the ads because he had arranged a separate loan to cover the down payment. The advertising was B. expressly prohibited by law. 14. In selling mobile homes, a real estate broker may not A. have an office where 6 model homes are displayed. B. Advertise no down payment if the payment is to be borrowed. C. Fail to withdraw advertising within 48 hours of receipt of notice of non-availability. D. Do any of these. Answer D. 15. After collecting an advance rental fee of $75, you are unable to provide your client with a rental that suits her. When she requests a refund, upon expiration of her rental contract, you must return C. $25, any amount over $50. 16. Which of the following is not required to be included in the notice required under the Bulk Sales Act? C. Sales price and terms. 17. In cases of non-compliance with the Bulk Sales Act, the party likely to be most adversely affected would be the B. purchaser, as creditors could have claims against goods purchased. 18. As a licensee dealing with people of other races, you should D. be completely colorblind regarding race. 19. The federal case that upheld fair housing was A. Jones v. Meyer. 20. A nonprofit women's organization intends to develop housing for members. It will limit rentals to women and will give preference to unmarried mothers. This action would likely be a violation of the A. Civil Rights Act of 1866. B. Civil Rights Act of 1968. C. Rumford Act. D. Both B and C. Sex and familial status discrimination. 21. The Civil Rights Act of 1968, as amended, does not prohibit A. sex discrimination. B. age discrimination. C. housing reserved for the elderly. D. discrimination against people with disabilities, not C. housing reserved for the elderly. 22. A broker takes listings in an area where property values are going down because the neighborhood is changing, and there is a mass exodus of whites. Which of the following actions by the broker would be a violation of fair housing laws? A. Advertising sell your property fast before you lose equity. B. Offering whites a lower commission rate to sell their property. C. Both of these. Answer C. Inducing panic selling. 23. Which of the following is an example of staring? A. Directing whites away from mixed-race areas. B. Advertising properties in black areas only in newspapers aimed at black readers. C. Both of these. Answer C. 24. Refusal to make a mortgage loan within a designated area is known as B. redlining. 25. For a broker's violation of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, the courts would not A. issue a restraining order. B. award actual damages. C. award punitive damages. D. revoke or suspend the broker's license. Answer is not D. revoke or suspend the broker's license.